welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I'm going to make some more of these fun Uptuck envelope pockets. Now what they're supposed to look like is if you had like a full envelope and somebody tore the corner off, so the stamp and the corresponding cancellation marks are on there. These were originally done on, of course there's one, back of like 4x6 cardstock photo mats I had. Some are colored, some were white, and I took the 4x6 and I just ended up ripping them in half. I probably have these two, probably went together. Actually, it's a little bit smaller. I'll have to measure this out here. This was 3x4, 3 by almost 4. So it probably was half of my bigger cardstock here. For that, but then I took that full piece and I ripped it in half so that I could do two. Now the only downside is the pockets are always going to go up this direction because you wouldn't have the stamp on this side of, like if this is the envelope, you wouldn't have the stamp on this side. It would be like a return address where you could stick the item in there, but to make it a stamp one, they're always going to be Uptucks for that way. So how we used them is like this would get attached to a page, and my cute little chicken guy from last video or 2 videos ago would get tucked up inside of there, and that should actually be very cute. For that, I might just keep that together to put that in my chicken journal. Okay, but instead of I forgot to mention it, but instead of making them on white, and why I have that here is I thought it'd be kind of fun to make them on this, which is the an Amazon packaging, and cut them into smaller pieces obviously, and stamp them and have more of a manila colored envelope, a little bit more grungy to make Uptuck pockets. I think this will be thick enough to do. These, like I said, these were cardstock, but I think this will still work. After I do the first one, I might end up like gluing 2 together somehow to make it a little thicker feeling, but we'll see as we go from there. So and I also pulled out some of my stamps from Tim Holtz Correspondence, I think it's called. My collection, I just pulled them out of my pile, and I've got my couple cancellation marks for it, and I pulled out some gray hickory smoke for inking, and I did somewhere, I did my swishes here. Like one of these, this is gray in here, and then I have the darker one is the fallen leaves, and then like the in-between color is morning mist. So I got a couple shades that I thought would work well onto this brown paper for that. So let me put the stamps and stuff aside, and I'm going to get my cutter out and cut these down to manageable sizes. Okay, so I think I'm just going to cut this top layer where it's kind of folded on this side here. Okay, so I'm thinking, I'll just cut this way first, get this piece off. But I'm thinking, let's start with this and measure this size and go from there. Put that to the side for now. So we just start with a little bit smaller pieces. But like I said, that is, well actually this has both sides, so we're okay. Now if you wanted it a little smoother, you could probably iron it out. But I'm thinking, you know what, sometimes if you read some mail that's come in from the post office and it's a little bit wrinkly, and you're like, I wonder what journey that letter took. All right, let's see if I can get it to the side. These look like be a nice size. And then rip them in half. I think so. All right, so we're gonna trim them on the machine just to make them a little bit straighter on some of the edges before I tear them. Just because like the top of the envelope would be pretty straight and the side of the envelope would be pretty straight. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim it up, and I noticed that this side didn't quite catch all of it. All right, and then we're gonna cut it down the fold and see if we've got all the pieces cut. Oh, I do. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so what did this end up being? Almost 4 by a little more than 3. So pretty close to that size for it. So like I said, I just went through and I ripped it. Or are these not going to rip? Okay, good. For a second I thought these were going to be too strong and not want to rip. Now I didn't totally do it like perfectly down the center, but just enough that that could be the side of an envelope. And that could be the side of an envelope. Now if it got a little bit like too, like it would have, like it didn't look like, it was hard to explain there. Like this would be the bottom of the envelope, but if the envelope in your mind would go a little farther, you'd want to tear that a little bit more so it looked like it really got torn from an envelope. So don't have any straightish edges at the end. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tear all these. All right, these are ready to go. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find stamps that I want to put on there because the cancellation marks would go over them. Any of the other stamping would go over them. And if I wanted to edge them, ink them a little bit to distress them, I'd probably do it at the end just to see if it needs to be grungified a little bit. Like I said, it got dirty in the mail. So for stamping, I'm probably going to use this book, which is when I was doing my last video with my messy postcards, I haven't used this book in a while, and there's such wonderful, wonderful stamps in here. I thought it'd be fun to go through here and do this. But obviously, if you don't have real stamps, there's always the Tim Holtz sticker one. That would be nice and fast and easy. Or if you picked up some of the stamp punches that I had linked down in my Amazon, or just, you know, make some stamps out of stickers that you have. There's just so many ways to get different kinds of stamps for things like that. So with that said, let's go ahead and pick, what do I got? 8? I get 8. So should I make a rainbow of stamps? I probably should make a rainbow of stamps. And I don't necessarily say they have to totally be grungy. They could be kind of fun, right? Might be just a little bit big. Might want to go with a little bit smaller. But I am not opposed to having some fun colors, just because they're darker. All right, there's a blue one. Okay, we can always go back and do another blue if I need to. And a green one. That one pile that I showed you, they were Christmas stamps for like Christmas journals. I had found them. It was in a digital. That motorcycle could be kind of fun. Let's do that. And we got green, another green. I have a lot of greens, and I have not too many yellows, but that's got some fun color on it. Get you in there. And purple, purple. Pinkish purple. Purple with yellow. Now, like I said, I am picking brighter colors only because my stamping is going to be darker and the paper's a little darker. So I'm going to just brighten it up a little bit. All right, this is probably, it'll be fun, but I think it's a little too big. That's my black ones. My white ones have some color. White with green, and ooh, bright red. I got one red, no, I got pink. One, ooh, what are you? Oh, you too big. Oh, you're not. I like you. Well, you just need one more? All right, I don't have too many pinks, so let's go to orange. And this bird apiece looks like fun. Okay. All right, I got all 8. Now, obviously, if you were making this to be some sort of for a specific journal and you wanted to pick pictures of things that corresponded, like I got my chicken one, so if I had like a chicken stamp, and you know, don't forget, almost forgot to mention, if you don't have stamps and you have a printer, on my Ko-fi is the free printable with these tiny little stamps, and they would definitely work for these. All right, so glue, And I'll glue these. We'll glue these and then we'll stamp these. So, like, look how fun it would be just to sit there and mass make a whole bunch of these. Like, how hard is it to do? And they don't have to be straight because, you know, you go to put a stamp on an envelope you're mailing. Do you always get it perfectly straight? I know I don't. And, so, well, I hope your day is going well. We are actually having a bright, sunshiny day today. Storms moved through last night, but they weren't as bad as they said, thank goodness. And, yeah, actually get to see some sunshine today. I had to go to the post office this morning and drop off some packages. And as I was driving home, I saw people walking out my driveway, and I could tell they were solicitors, had the little beautiful clipboard. So I make a little beeline around my little cul-de-sac, drive away, go down, we have another cul-de-sac at the next street, drive around that one and pull out of that one and wait at the stop sign, looking down at my house for them to be away from my house. So they got about 2 houses down, and I drove back up, and I'm like, you know, don't. I have a big sign that says no solicitors on my door, but they can't see it from the street because I got huge bushes in front of me. And sometimes I don't think they see it anyway because they still ring the doorbell. We never answer it. We have a window that has, not stained glass, privacy glass, one-way glass seal that you put like on car windshields where you can see out but can't see in. We have those on our windows. You did not stick very well. And so we can look out and see if it's somebody we actually know, like from the neighborhood, or if it is not. And most of the time we choose not to answer the doorbell. So, okay. Keep this out for the stamping. All right, so there is our fun little stamps all glued down, and we will get the stamps ready. Well, now obviously I pulled out way too many stamps for this, but I think putting 2 stamps on there is not a bad thing. Stamps meaning this, not stamps meaning that. And yeah, just kind of, you know, grunge it up a little bit. So I do have, like I said, I've got my cancellation stamps. I've got 3 different, that's not a cancellation, that's a made by factory. We're gonna put that to the side. So I got two cancellations from 1944. Are they the same one? Oh, they are the same one, just one's bigger, one's smaller. Huh. Must have actually been from 2 different stamp of my collections. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and start one. All right, so we're gonna start with this guy, and I think he needs to be a little darker. So we're gonna go with this guy, and we're gonna cancel. And I don't mind that it comes off because, like I said, it's been, whoops, ripped away for it. So we are not mad that it's ripped away. And this is from with an airplane on there. So I'm thinking this airmail one would be good. And again, putting it a bit on and off is okay. So it was airmail. And we can do put the received, this little received on the back, and we'll cancel it over there. And there we go. And I think this is pretty thin. I probably should have covered it with something, but I think a little too late now. Might still be okay once you glue it down and have it in there. I guess we'll see. But I would probably suggest, if you think it's too thin, to, before you rip it in half, glue it flat onto something a little heavier and then rip the 2 together. I'm just thinking, spitballing out loud. Because as usual, I have not done this before until I start doing it for you guys, and there we go. All right, so this one is a little lighter, so I think we're gonna go with the gray. It's got half a stamp already, so I probably won't do that circle one. So we're going to cancel it right there for that. And we are going to do that airmail. I flung that right off the table. Here. All right, there we go. Double airmail. I think that's okay. It looks, I mean, are they perfect? Not necessarily. And we're going to handle with care. Put that right there. Okay, cute. All right, let's do this one. And for this one, we're going to go with the darker. Cover this up before I elbow myself. Now, since these are all going to be into different journals and they're not going to be seen together, you can easily go ahead and, you know, stamp a couple things all at once, really to mass make it, to make it a little bit faster, instead of doing each one individually. Just saying. All right, so we got, I think we're going to go back with this guy. And cancel it from there. And let's do this handle with care. And a little bit off the patch or paper. Beautiful. All right, so this guy we sort of started, and I'm gonna just do delivery on here. And I put stamp below it as if that's where the stamp needed to go. They're telling you to put a stamp there. Yeah, cute. All right, so you just got your swirls, and we're gonna put a letter there. Even though it says Eder, I think you probably know it said letter, right? And I've got the swirl in there ready, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swirl on top of it. So it's on the brown too. Yep. And off a stamp. That's all up in the top, but that's okay. That is alrighty. I am really using a lot of these. Let's airmail this guy. He looks very, very foreign. So the airmail, it kind of makes sense. And let's do the swoosh and the cancellation. All right, I'm gonna knock the swoosh down a little bit color-wise. And put it there. And I don't think, you know, I think it's too big. I don't think I want to put this circle cancellation on there. I think it's a little bit bigger than I want. Because if I put the circle down here, I guess I could do it down there. Let's do it down there. I have a whole bunch of other ones similar to this, but I just wanted to pull out my Tim Holtz stamps and not go through all my other ones. But I got a ton of those circle kind of cancellation stamps. All right, we got 2 left. All right, I have not used this. Let's use this bigger swoosh. And let's go with the Morning Mist. All right, 2 cancellations. And let's do that airmail one. That one's gonna go right there. Beautiful. And I'm gonna put this postage guaranteed. I knew it was going to be kind of long, but like I said, on those other things, I am okay that it does not show because it's supposed to be ripped like that. Postage guaranteed, and a little bit of, let's do handle with care on that one, because they are really wanting to make sure it gets there. Postage guaranteed, handle with care. And for this one, oh, it does already say air letter. So let's go with, I could have had just simple numbers or anything with it. Not really too, maybe I'll just put the circle down there. Beautiful. Okay, did I do them all? Let's take a look. I got that one, that one, that one. That one's got stuff. And I just put my finger right in there. You got to be careful if you're stamping on these stamps that have a little bit of a shine. It takes a minute for the color to stop. Obviously stamping on here is going to soak in a little bit faster because it's paper, but you want to be careful and make sure these stay completely dry. Yeah, I like them. And how quick was that, right? So simple. Got them done. And I've got, like I said, I've got the old white ones. Like I said, mostly Christmas. I do have one that's not Christmas, but the same type of deal. Probably could have started with a little bit longer piece than I had, but I think they still work great. And again, I would say I probably should have attached these to a little bit thicker paper next time. I have a whole bunch of paper left, so I can definitely make some more of these. The other one that I was thinking of doing is I do have this paper, which is kind of an off-white, also like a manila paper. This would probably be a great one to do the same kind of up stamp from. So if you have, obviously most people have white paper laying around, but you've got some other colored paper that could, mimic an envelope that you would have seen go through the mail. Why not? And these little grungier, darker ones, yeah, I think they're fun. Okay, well, that is going to be it for today's video. Again, as just a reminder, I'm starting to just do the 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, like I said in the last video, just to, at this point, hopefully I can keep going as the store, my Etsy and eBay store gets busier for the holidays. That's my goal, but as past couple seasons, I've definitely had to slow down and do less videos a week. So we're gonna just step back to the 3 for now and see where that takes us. Yeah, hopefully there will be no problem. I love it. I love these. These are fun. Okay, well, that is going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for stopping by, and as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.